What makes you think Democrats, and I say this respectfully, want you?
Well, I think it's a two-part story. I think one is Donald Trump is that bad, but he's in charge, and we watch that play out on our TV screens and in our lives every minute of every day. If you're trying to sit there and hold on to Medicaid, or your kid goes to school and gets a free or reduced lunch, and SNAP programs have gotten cut by $200 billion, and you just go down the list, then you're disenfranchised. But also, I think Democrats are going through a shift, at least the ones I'm talking to, the ones that are trying to find a way to live outside the extremes. The Republicans are camped out in the extreme on the right, and Democrats have an opportunity here. There's chaos on the battlefield for sure, but if Democrats can embrace a more moderate platform, one that actually solves real problems, and my gravitational pull to the Democratic Party is it gives me a better chance to be creative. The Democrats need to be the party of ideas. They need to solve real people's problems, people that are scared to death about tomorrow's paycheck or their health insurance.
You keep referring to Democrats as some amorphous group. You are now a Democrat, and I hasten to say this, but the very first words out of your mouth when I asked the question wasn't about what you wanted to do, but it was about Donald Trump.
Well, I think that's part of the wake-up call. You asked about were they ready to embrace a change, and I think that's part of the wake-up call. You can't just go the status quo and continue to get beat. I mean, I look here in Georgia. If we elect a far-left candidate as a Democrat in the primary, then we'll essentially have Governor Donald Trump because we'll have a MAGA Republican as the next governor of Georgia and lead us directly into the ditch. We won't have the safeguards of having a more moderate Brian Kemp. So, look, if Democrats want to wake up and embrace a more moderate platform, one that actually solves real problems, goes to work, rolls their sleeves up, takes input, is able to agree to disagree on some of the fringe issues, then I think they have an unbelievable opportunity to step up to the plate and meet Donald Trump right where he deserves to be, and that's in the loser's lane.
That sounds an awful lot like a guy who's thinking about running for governor as a Democrat.
Well, you know, look, my phone's been ringing for a long time from folks both on the left and the middle and even some on the right that are wanting to figure out a way to get somebody that can solve real problems and have real solutions and be able to bring them to work with them each and every day and turn chaos into conversations. I'm certainly thinking about it. I've certainly got an inner circle gathered, friends, family, and advisors trying to figure out, is there a way forward for this state? Is there a candidate for me to support, or is it maybe that candidate going to be me? We're going to make those decisions in the coming days, but for now, I think this transition over to being a Democrat is one that's taken time.
About this transition, about today?
The overwhelming support. I've gotten text messages, phone calls, emails from Democrats. I've gotten from Republicans, from folks that I didn't know what they were, that are encouraging me to do the right thing. Because at the end of the day, Leland, just like I talked about in that convention that you mentioned, that coaster that I held up, doing the right thing will never be the wrong thing. This is the right thing for Geoff Duncan. It may not be the right thing for everybody. I just think this puts me in the best possible position to love my neighbor. If I care about them having health insurance, if I care about them wanting to have gun control, if I care about them wanting to have food at school, if I care about them wanting to not be ripped out of their home by a militant group, by a military-style effort, just because they're undocumented, not because they broke the law, other than they came into this country 20 years ago. Those are not ways to love your neighbor.
You sound like a Democrat now. I will give you that, and I'm not saying that pejoratively.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Leland. Thank you.
Well, just call it the way it is. I'm going to give you the last 45 seconds on this. The power, the movement, the energy in the Democratic Party, we've been covering it for months, is on the socialist left. You're many things. I know you well. You're not a socialist. Doesn't that scare you?
I reject. No, it doesn't, because it's not the case here in Georgia. I listen to Democrats all around the state. I listen to moderates and Republicans that want to have a better way forward, that want to have a plan. I think most folks live in the middle. They go to work in the middle. They take their kids to school in the middle. They go to their kids' games in the middle. But all of a sudden, we show up around election time and we turn into these partisan monsters. And to me, that's, just like George Will talked about earlier. I mean, the market conditions, I don't want them to get so bad that Donald Trump takes this economy into the complete gutter. I don't want to see wars break out because Donald Trump has failed at leadership. I want to see us be able to right the ship before we hit the extremes. And we've got a chance here to do it, but we've got to wake up. And for me, that best chance right now is within the Democratic Party, not in any sort of the Republican ship has sailed. Donald Trump has sucked the life and soul out of the Republican Party.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.